anything.
This is nerve-wracking.
Do you have what it takes for Jeopardy? Weeknights at 6 on WNKY, NBC 40.
I'm Morgan Hoover. Join us weeknights for WNKY News 40 at 5.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What I want to know is, be very careful of your answer.
I will be.
When did you take this picture?
Last month.
But it still looks like that today.
I don't believe you, because I see a major difference between this picture and this picture. And this picture was not taken a month ago, because the apricot tree is in full greenery in this picture, and in this picture, it is not. And this picture was taken yesterday. So what you showed me is, what does it look like now, is deceptive. Your case is dismissed. Goodbye.
I thought the damaged ladder.
Goodbye.
The damaged ladder.
And goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
My opinion's the only one that counts.
I've had problems with her in the past, and she's just not a happy person.
Because he lied.
Everything I try to do to make her happy,
Those are pictures looking down at the dirt.
it seems like it makes it worse.
If he'd come over and do what he was supposed to do, that he said he was going to do.
I believe I could probably go over there and do probably a half an hour's worth of work,
I guess to be good neighbors, but that's going to be difficult.
if that would make her happy, but I still don't think it'll make her happy. I've had run-ins with her before, and I think we're going to have run-ins again.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight for News 40 at 5. I'm Morgan Hoover.
And I'm Chris Allen. Thanks for joining us here on a Thursday evening when we finally got some rain.
Yes, finally, and seems raining most of the morning.
Yeah, and that thunder. I mean,
my gosh,
from last night and all through the morning hours, it was kind of nice to be able to get all of this rain finally, to talk about some measurable rainfall across the area. Here's the 4-hour clouds and radar. You can watch all of this just kind of move out of the area. Skies have cleared, but I see new developing thunderstorms back to the southwest of us. Whether those affect us or not remains to be seen. Temperatures are in the 70s right now, and tonight I think the big story is going to be fog setting up. Showers ending, a low of 62 with some dense fog across the area. I'll take a look at the 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Morgan?
All right, Chris, new information tonight in the deadly plane crash that happened just north of Bowling Green. We now know the names of the 2 people who died when the plane crashed in a heavily wooded area near Whitesville, Kentucky last night. The Ohio County coroner says 22-year-old Timothy McKellar Jr. of Custer and 18-year-old Connor Quisenberry of Beaver Dam were pronounced dead at the scene when emergency crews located the plane's wreckage this morning. The Ohio County Sheriff's Office says the plane left the Bowling Green Regional Airport around 10:55 last night. At the same time, a severe thunderstorm had developed in the area. The Ohio County coroner confirms that McKellar was the flight instructor. Quisenberry was the student pilot on board. Coming up tonight at 6, we talked to a local pilot about flight training and the common practice of an overnight touch and go. Well, another story that we have been following closely, mobile sports betting launches today across Kentucky. Here's what you need to know. Right now, 7 of the 8 operators approved by the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission are now taking bets. Those are Barstool Sportsbook, BetMGM, Caesar Sportsbook, Kentucky, DraftKings, Fanatics Sportsbook, and FanDuel Circus Sports. More than 60,000 Kentuckians are already pre-registered. BetKentucky.com estimates that more than $2.1 billion will be wagered during the first full year of online sports betting. Kentucky officials believe the state will collect $23 million in tax revenue this year. Well, speaking of sports, I want to check in with News 40 sports anchor Patrick Carey, who is live inside Hutchinson Stadium tonight ahead of the Hilltoppers game. Patrick, how's it looking out there?
Hey, Morgan, it's turned out to be a beautiful night here for some Thursday night football, college football edition. I'm here at Houchin-Smith Stadium as both teams are currently warming up. Tops are set to open conference play here in just about an hour, hosting MTSU for the annual 100 Miles of Hate rivalry game. WK returns home after losing back-to-back games on the road against Ohio State and Troy. MTSU is currently 1-3 on the year, falling to Colorado State, Missouri, and Alabama. Blue Raiders' lone win is against Murray State. These two teams last met last season on October 15th in Murfreesboro, where the Tops picked up a dominant road win 35-17. For head coach Tyson Helton, he feels there's a lot of similarities between the two programs.
You know, these are two football teams that are very, very similar teams. I think they're a well-coached football team. Coach Stocksel does a great job getting his guys ready to play. I mean, it's a rivalry game, so everybody's always up for the game. So I think that kind of overrides all the bumps and the bruises and all the. You had a tough loss. They had a tough loss. I think everybody just kind of wipes the slate clean and says, all right, let's get this conference win.
We have just about an hour until kickoff, so plenty of time to get down here on the Hill for some Tops football action on Thursday night. But for now, I'm Patrick Carey reporting live at Houchin-Smith Stadium. Morgan, back to you in the studio.
All right, Patrick. Well, after 5 long years of construction, Bowling Green High School is officially complete. The final addition is their beautiful new courtyard. The goal of this creation is to cultivate an outdoor space that complements the indoor common areas. This new space also allows students to go from class to class and eat lunch all outside.
Although we have 16, 17, 18-year-olds in this building, they're kids at heart, and they want to be outside. They want to have fresh air. They want to have a chance to collaborate in spaces that aren't traditional. And I think that was a real key in this construction.
The new construction of Bowling Green High School is giving students the chance to be surrounded by nature and learn at the same time. Well, in just a few days, nearly 44 million Americans are going to have to start repaying their student loan debt. Starting in October, the first payments are due for most borrowers following more than 3 years of forbearance.
Student loan payments are back, adding to a growing list of things eating away at Americans' finances. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says 1 in 5 people with student loans are likely to struggle once their payments resume in October.
So it does feel like a even bigger burden for certain people. So there's kind of like this mix of feelings.
And according to a Bankrate survey, nearly a quarter of Americans with student loan debt say borrowing too much for their education is their biggest financial regret.
The numbers are so unreal and astronomical that I can't even fathom making a payment.
If I had that ability to talk to my younger self, I would have never, ever gone for that law degree. These student loans have been a noose around my neck for 20 years.
According to federal education data, the average student loan borrower owes over $37,000, costing on average up to $300 a month.
If you have debt, you really want to face it head on and figure out a plan for it.
So what can you do now to get a handle on your debt? 1, get your finances in order. See where you can trim down now to handle that additional monthly expense. 2, research and sign up for a repayment plan.
So an income-based plan that will make sure that your payment doesn't exceed a certain percentage of what you're making.
3, get back on the bandwagon. Make the necessary adjustments to make one-time payments and avoid delinquencies.
And a government shutdown still looms. Military service members could lose their benefits. Services like daycare facilities, mental health services, and access to SNAP benefits and WIC could be in jeopardy. Regional offices would also be closed, stopping disability claims processing and operations like career counseling. Fortunately, if there is a government shutdown, there would be no impact on veteran health care, and benefits like compensation, pension, education, and housing benefits will still be processed and delivered. Lawmakers have until Saturday, September 30th, to reach an agreement. Well, a traffic alert now. A section of KY 3145 is now reopened after a vehicle hit the Commonwealth Boulevard Bridge early this morning. The roads were closed most of the day so that temporary repairs could be made. Transportation officials say you should still be careful when driving through the area. They tell us permanent repairs will be made as soon as possible. Well, stay with us. Still to come on News 40 at 5. Caregivers are renowned for their labor of love, but sometimes they can forget to care for themselves. Some tips on self-care for those caring for others in just a bit. But first, Weather Chief Chris Allen is back after the break with a full look at our forecast. That's coming up next.
WNKY News 40. Broadcasting live from the German American Bank studio in downtown Bowling Green.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living. But Kentucky knows the truth.
Nice. DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Kentucky. You'll be so dialed into every play that you forget to eat your wings. You made my wings cold, DraftKings. Flailing your arms like you can disrupt the free throw. Miss, fool! And a home run will have you crying like it's the birth of your child. I'm so happy.
DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Kentucky. New customers, download the app now and bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Because life's more fun when you're in on the action. The crown is yours.
Yeah.
Andy Bashir wants to talk education. His record? Andy closed down our schools. Regular kids still haven't recovered. Fewer than half can read or do math at grade level. I'm Daniel Cameron. As the husband of a teacher, I know we can do better. The Cameron Catch-Up Plan is about supporting our teachers and getting kids caught up. I won't just campaign on education. I'll get it fixed because our teachers and students deserve it.
Toyota's four brothers have made a name for themselves on and off the road.
Tacoma has been the best-selling truck in its class for the past 18 years.
This is the legendary Toyota 4Runner.
With over 40 years of off-road experience, this SUV has seen it all and keeps coming back for more.
The powerfully efficient Sequoia delivers off-road adventures with style and comfort.
And Tundra is the biggest, most powerful, most technologically advanced truck Toyota has ever built.
Toyota's four brothers. Let's go places.
We're back with Weather Chief Chris Allen. Chris, we finally got that much-needed rain.
Man, I tell you what, and that thunder and lightning overnight,
yes.
I know it was rough.
It was
a little bit rough. Borderline severe. There were a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings after the 10 o'clock last night and during the overnight hours, but everything just went to heavy rain after that, which was good, which is something we desperately needed, and we finally got some badly needed rain. 1.23, that's almost an inch and a quarter total at the airport the past 24 hours, the Bowling Green Warren County Regional Airport. So now that puts our deficit for the month of September at just 1.17. The year-to-date deficit has been cut down to about 2.5 inches. So we're looking much better now than we were just previous to yesterday. We were entering the level 1 drought category as we moved into yesterday. So this will help a lot. Now, the Kentucky Mesonet numbers, these are not the exact totals, but they're rounded up to the nearest tenth, right at 2 inches of rain here in Bowling Green. We had 1.8 up in Hardinsburg, 1.6 thereabouts in Madisonville, but look at Hopkinsville, where they had some street flooding and some flood warnings going on there, right at 5 inches of rain in Christian County. So that was the highest total out of everybody in southern Kentucky. Right now, we're seeing a mainly sunny sky and the temperature at 75, a southwest wind at 6. Dew point still up there, a little bit of mugginess in the air, but that's going to come down as we go through tonight and into the day tomorrow. Here's that low pressure system in what was a frontal boundary is now just a disturbance. There's still enough moisture in the air to spark a couple of showers and thunderstorms. I've been seeing those on radar back to the southwest corner of Kentucky, back toward the confluence of the Mississippi and Ohio rivers. showers, but if any of that gets into the Bowling Green area, it's questionable. So my confidence is not real high that we're going to see any more rain here. I think much of it is going to be further south and west, even though the in-house model here paints it in over Bowling Green. We may get a shower or two early tomorrow morning, but nothing like what we saw today or even last night. Once we get into midday tomorrow, all of this starts to shove out of the way. This dissipates altogether and we get some drier air working in here, but I do think we'll see some cloud cover not only tomorrow but also early Saturday, and some of this is going to be in the form of fog. In fact, tonight, overnight and early tomorrow morning, I think the fog could be rather dense across the area. So if you're going out to the Western football game tonight, I think you're fine. We'll see lows in the 60s. Tomorrow, we'll see 81 for a high with that mix of sun and clouds, and I do think we'll start cloudy with dense fog that may linger for a while for the drive into work, but the rest of the forecast looking fairly dry into the low to mid 80s throughout the weekend and into the beginning of next week. The next chance of rain coming Thursday, and after that, I am looking at a big cool down by next weekend. Here's what's coming up tonight on NBC 40.
Football Frenzy is back in South Central Kentucky.
WNKY News 40 is your home for high school football.
The most schools,
the most highlights,
the most coverage.
Catch Football Frenzy Friday nights at 10 on WNKY News 40.
Morris Jewelry is this area's independent and trusted source for diamonds. We're an experienced direct diamond importer, and custom design is our specialty. With diamond engagement rings starting at $33 per month, our prices can't be beat.
When Daniel Cameron says he absolutely supports bringing back Matt Bevin's ruthless Medicaid plan, Cameron threatens to take away coverage from over 95,000 Kentuckians and punish working parents.
This sounds very similar to something that Governor Matt Bevin tried.
Well, absolutely.
But when Cameron said he'd back Bevin's war on teachers and take taxpayer money from public schools to give to private schools instead, he'd punish Kentucky's kids. Cameron's absolutely wrong for Kentucky.
Join the WNKY News 40 weather team. Visit WNKY.com to become a weather watcher.
We've got the drinks and good times. Now all we need is you. The 8th annual Bourbon and Brew Fest presented by the Mick Gaming Hall is back Saturday, October 21st at Bowling Green Ballpark. We have an expansive selection of bourbons, craft beers, mixed drinks, and more. Plus, sip while shopping, specialty vendors all around the ballpark. VIP ticket holders can enjoy the Heaven Hill VIP experience in the Performance Food Club, while premium ticket holders can take part in the Premium Lounge. Tickets start at just $50 and are on sale now at bgbrewfest.com or by calling 270-901-2121.
Recovery is strength. Addiction feeds on insecurity and weakness, and it thrives in the dark recesses of the mind. My recovery journey, from detox to present day, has empowered me to go to those dark places and confront what I find there. Recovery showed me a strength I didn't know that I had, and it also allows me to live life on my terms without turning to substances as an escape. For strength against addiction, visit landmarkrecovery.com or call 866-LANDMARK today.
Bruce Willis's wife, Emma, has been very vocal about the struggles of caregiving for her husband. The actor's family went public with his diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia earlier this year. Caring for a loved one who's sick can take a toll on physical and mental health. And tonight, we have ways caregivers can also care for themselves.
One more.
It's a labor of love, but being a caregiver to a loved one who can't care for themselves isn't easy.
Caregivers often face a relentless cycle of responsibilities with really little respite.
Nick Allen is leading an ongoing study at The Ohio State University, researching the toll caregiving takes. Over time, he says caregivers can feel extreme stress, isolation, and depression. And it can be made worse if the care partners don't care for themselves, too.
Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity.
Allen says that starts by maintaining social connections, keeping up activities you enjoy.
Most hobbies that people have align with their values. And so when somebody lets them go, life can become a little bit unmoored from those values.
Focus on your own physical health by being active and take care of mental health too. Alan says coping skills are key.
We believe even brief stress reduction skills can improve quality of life immensely.
If you know someone who's caring for another, it's also important to support them. Alan says that includes educating yourself on what it means to be a caregiver, providing emotional support, offering respite care, and if that's not possible, showing them compassion and empathy.
Let them know that you see them, hear them, and support them.
Alan says if you're a caregiver and are struggling, there are resources out there that can help you, including the AARP and the Alzheimer's Association. Well, the Food and Drug Administration is updating the label of the diabetes drug Ozempic to acknowledge reports of blocked intestines and some people using it. Ozempic and its sister weight loss drug Wegovy have recently soared in popularity. The medications mimic a hormone the body naturally makes to slow the passage of food through the stomach, which helps people feel fuller longer. The labels of Wegovy and a diabetes drug called Mounjaro acknowledge reports of intestinal blockage in some people who use them. Ozempic's label has been updated to say that as well. Well, coming up on News 40 at 5, as the Saturday night deadline to avoid a government shutdown approaches, lawmakers on Capitol Hill continue to look for a bipartisan solution, all while inquiries into the Hunter Biden case continue. The latest when we return.
I usually vote Republican, but I'm also voting for Andy Beshear. I definitely feel that Kentucky's moving forward under Andy's leadership. He brings great ideals to the floor. Andy's the guy that's been bringing the two parties together. Beshear's brought a lot of good jobs to the state of Kentucky. He makes sure that the police have everything they need to keep us safe. Andy cut the income tax. That's a big deal, huge deal. I voted for Trump because I felt he was putting the American people first. I'm going to support Andy because I do feel he's putting Kentucky first.
Home is more than a house. Wherever you are in your journey of homeownership, German American Bank is here to support you. Our team of dedicated mortgage loan professionals can help you with lending solutions featuring low or no down payment, assistance for closing costs and improvement projects, or even loans specifically for first-time home buyers. We're here to tell you, homeownership is achievable. German American Bank, member FDIC.
At Infinity Pipeline, your family is our family. Our employees are the foundation of what we do. And what matters to you matters to us. We're now hiring the next generation of skilled workers to help grow our community. Apply now. InfinityPipeInc.com.
Just rockin' and rollin', baby.
Cut back tomorrow.
We got you all fixed up. Got it all fixed up for you, ma'am. Let there be light, ma'am.
Looks like she finally called JB.
Major insurance companies use a software called Colossus to tell them what the firm you hire is likely to settle your case for. They know which law firms can lowball and take the last best offer. Not us. Morgan & Morgan. For the people.
Pictionary.
Jump rope.
Jump rope is correct. 1, 2, 3.
Every weekday. Pictionary on NBC 40.
As the stalemate on Capitol Hill puts the country on the verge of a government shutdown, air travelers remember the impact of the partial shutdown nearly 5 years ago. Jerry Carnes has more.
Travelers on the move. At the world's busiest airport, we find a stress-free line at the main security checkpoint, thanks in part to federal employees who are facing an uncertain future. The threat of a government shutdown has airline passengers facing the same uncertainty.
There's always a concern with, security checkpoints. Is it going to make the lines longer? Do I need to get here 4 hours early instead of 3 hours early?
Travelers like Jake Smith still remember the logjam at security checkpoints during a 35-day partial government shutdown that began nearly 5 years ago. TSA agents continued to work even though they weren't paid. But as the shutdown lingered, sick calls increased. Lines at Hartsfield-Jackson security checkpoints grew to over an hour.
Until they get what they want up there, we ain't going to get what we want down here.
Another shutdown could bring the same result.
Absenteeism can go up. If air traffic controllers are not showing up to work either, that can again cause delays.
Travel expert Lori Garrow of Georgia Tech says it all depends on how long a shutdown might last. There's a chance the impact could linger into this year's holiday travel season.
FAA, for instance, has hired more than 1,500 new air traffic controllers this year. They need training, right, in order to be able to get on the job. So if we have a government shutdown, that training will get stalled or delayed.
A spokesperson for Hartsfield-Jackson said airport officials are monitoring the situation, adding that in the past the airport offered resources to federal employees working without pay to, quote, maintain their well-being. We expect to do the same if needed this year. A shutdown could impact demand for travel. A U.S. Travel Association poll found that 60% of Americans would avoid or cancel their travel plans if there's a shutdown.
And if you're looking to fly United Airlines, they've got some new accommodations coming your way if you are wheelchair bound, including improvements to United's online booking process. Travelers will also be eligible for partial fare reimbursement if they have to book more expensive flights that are better able to handle wheelchairs. And the United Auto Workers Union could expand its strike against 3 major automakers on Friday. The decision hinges on whether negotiators are able to make significant progress on getting its union members new contracts. The union is calling for substantial pay increases, annual cost of living adjustments, pensions, and a shift to a 4-day work week. UAW leaders say they have made some progress in its negotiations with Ford Motor Company. However, its talks with General Motors and Stellantis are moving slowly.
They have agreed to a wage increase, cost of living increases, the right to strike if Ford closes plants, and some other matters that were important to the union. So they've made progress, but they're still not there.
The union is targeting 3 plants, each one owned by Ford, GM, and Stellantis. It's hurting those companies' bottom line, but it's not an across-the-board strike that would hurt the U.S. economy. The Senate is poised to move ahead with a short-term funding plan to avoid a shutdown, but there's no indication House Republicans will get on board. All of this as House Republicans hold their first impeachment inquiry hearing into President Biden. Alice Barr has more details.
With the clock ticking ever closer to a government shutdown this Saturday night, Senate leadership trying to fast-track a short-term spending bill.
Congress has only one option to avoid a shutdown: bipartisanship.
But even if it clears the Senate in time, it would likely hit a brick wall in the House, where far-right Republicans are holding out for steep spending cuts and border policy provisions.
House Republicans are united in cutting our spending, addressing our border security, but the Democrats in the Senate refuse to go along.
Despite the standstill on government funding that could affect millions, House Republicans are moving ahead with their first impeachment inquiry hearing into President Biden, centered on allegations that he helped his son Hunter Biden profit off the family name in foreign business dealings.
Joe Biden is the brand. And Joe Biden showed up at least 24 times with business targets and associates sending signals of access, influence, and power to those prepared to pay for it.
Hunter Biden's former business partner previously testified that while Joe Biden sometimes exchanged pleasantries with his son's associates, he never talked business with them. Republican star witness, a law professor, undercutting GOP members who say the president could be impeached today.
I do not believe that the current evidence would support articles of impeachment.
Though he does believe the House has good reason to hold an impeachment inquiry and dig for more evidence. Democrats pointing to reams of documents already uncovered.
Not a single page shows a dime going to President Joe Biden.
For his part, President Biden in Arizona today giving a speech on democracy, a key focal point of his re-election bid. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, stay with us. We'll have a final look at your forecast coming up right after this.
My daughters and I were stopped at a red light, and we were rear-ended by a drunk driver. And I called on a Saturday, and I figured that maybe they would call on Monday. She had returned my call within 15 minutes. When she came in, she made me feel very at ease, and she spoke to me just like we'd been friends forever. It just made all the difference in the world, being treated the way I was and having that encouragement behind me.
I was raped by my stepfather after years of sexual abuse. I was 12. Anyone who believes there should be no exceptions for rape and incest could never understand what it's like to stand in my shoes. This is to you, Daniel Cameron. To tell a 12-year-old girl she must have the baby of her stepfather who raped her is unthinkable. I'm speaking out because women and girls need to have options. Daniel Cameron would give us none.
Nice. DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Kentucky. You'll be so dialed into every play that you forget to eat your wings. You made my wings cold, DraftKings. Flailing your arms like you can disrupt the free throw. Miss, fool! And a home run will have you crying like it's the birth of your child. I'm so happy.
DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Kentucky. New customers, download the app now and bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Because life's more fun when you're in on the action. The crown is yours.
Yeah.
Is your search for a new home on hold because of high interest rates and high monthly payments? Jago Homes has your solution with a low 4.99 fixed interest rate and no energy bills for 2 years. You'll enjoy open, spacious living, and your family will be comfortable year-round with exclusive energy-smart technology. Learn why a new Jago home is more affordable than you think at jagohomes.com. Because life is too precious to be put on hold.
The Jennifer Hudson Show is here.
You're going to bless people every day.
Something hits you in your heart.
We're doing it all.
Weekdays at 2 on NBC 40.
Welcome back. Well, it's almost a perfect day, right? Which is hard to say when it's raining, but we had the rain during the day and it stopped just in time for football.
Yeah, and the game should go off without a hitch as far as the weather is concerned. Then tomorrow, you may wake up to some clouds and even some very dense fog as we get down into the 60s tonight, up to 81 tomorrow. The rest of the weekend looking nice and sunny. And we're going to go into another dry spell, it appears, for much of next week.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Thank you at home. We will see you at 6 o'clock over on